Morning, everyone. In this video, we're going to do a leader tier list, and this is not a power level leader tier list per se. I am coming up on, second win this week. It's usually at big moments in tournaments. I think about, what am I gonna play next? I've been playing Convocation for so long, to the sense this is like my second stint in the Convocation. And so, every time I kind of sit there and go, well, what would I consider playing? Should I just play the stuff I have? Blah, blah, blah. And so I've always kind of wanted to put out my thoughts on, like, when I look through all the leaders, where does my heart lie? What are my thoughts? And so we got a tier list. I'll talk through some of my choices, especially the ones that aren't, like, in the absolutely not or, like, bad category. So, again, this is not a tier. This is a my tier. So we're going with 6 tiers right now. First one is the one that basically says, man, they interest me. There's a chance, but it's maybe too much for me or something. The next one is just, hey, it's probably solid. I probably like it, but it's not that like super thrilling. The next one is ones I really am not like. I still don't hate them, but I don't love them. And then maybe in a duel situation, so we'll talk a little bit about those. The next one is ones I just will not play right now, and these are probably going to be good leaders or at least okay leaders. So I guess the absolutely fucking not and too bad how sad. Too bad how sad is like you suck too much. I'm not going to play you. Absolutely not is there's a personal thing there that I just don't want to play you. And then obviously fuck webs. There's zero chance I'm playing webs. I will quit the game before I play webs. Even though the new Spider-Verse leadership that's non-leadership is probably exactly in the wheelhouse of something I'd want to play, there is zero, we're just going to put them there now, because there is zero chance I think I ever play webs. Like, have such a disdain for them that I would probably quit the game before I played them. Even though that leadership is pretty cool. Power level aside, it's just something I would like. So there's a lot of leaders here. I obviously cut out all the doubles. This is just, Wong doesn't need anything. Magic is New Mutants. Strange, Supreme is Convocation. Obviously, he's the real leader. What was I going to say? And then, he's Doctor Strange. I don't think there's anything else to really worry about. Oh, yeah, there's no Steve Rogers, NASCAR Steve. It's Namor is the only Invader leader that actually matters. So what can we just get rid of real quick? I mean, Claw, this guy, Elsa sucks. Max. So Max is probably an interesting one to talk about. So one thing here, again, this doesn't necessarily mean like so sad, so bad that like it's unplayable. So I don't want people to get that idea. I also want people to know that I really find rerolls insanely boring as a leadership. Strength aside, I don't respect it as much as other people as a strength, but 2, I find it like insanely boring. So like they're always going to rank lower for me. This is also not just a leadership ability tier list. It is a, obviously when you pick a new affiliation, you're kind of starting it with the leader, the card, the affiliated models, all that kind of good stuff. And so it's kind of like the whole package. So like, yeah, it's kind of the whole package. And then I want to talk about Max specifically for just a second. Even if he didn't have the downside of the skull, I wouldn't even like this leadership that much. I could tell you, sit here and say, hey, that's a pretty strong leadership with all the rerolls you would get. But I can also sit here and be like, that's kind of fucking boring. And so he might even have a little bit. I mean, the downside is just so big, right? You can tell me all day about like you can take hit and runs, you can change your activation order to like don't activate your most important models that can't be placed back like first or whatever. I know Nasty has a lot of cool like little things that he does to like make the leadership not feel as bad. But the fact that it still can feel really bad and you still have to go out of your way to get around the bad feeling, like not making an attack because you're worried about rolling into a skull so you don't place off a point, feels like something I don't want to play to gain a benefit that I don't even respect. Yeah. Anyway, that's my little rant there. I don't actually know where to put my leaders that I actually play. I'm gonna put the 3 leaderships that at least the 2 that I play consistently recently, right? Is gonna go in buttered chicken mob because there's a world where we get through this, or I try different things, and then I'm just not happy, and I just play these guys. In fact, I'll put Sam there too. They're not ranked in tiers or anything. I mean, I might move the order like it matters, but I'm not like going through all the bad ones and like ordering them. Sam is probably, I don't want to put him here because he's not that like, he's not spicy. He's just like really good. And I played him when I first started playing MCP, so like 3 years ago, I think it's been at this point. It's about a little under 3 years, I believe, right? Because squad goals, it's got to be at least 3 years at this point. It's 3 or 4 years. I actually don't know when I first started playing MCP. It might be 4. No, my son was born in 20. It had to be. It's been 3 years. I started in 2022. 23, 24, 24, 23. Right. All right, something like that. Anyway, I started with Sam. It's been a long time. He is painted. He's my 3rd most played leader. And it's always hard with Sam because, like, I think it's hard with, like, I don't know. We're not getting into that right now. He's up there in the mild part. Who else is bad enough that I probably wouldn't play? I wouldn't play Mephisto. I love Dracula, and maybe he could go here. I've played enough Dracula, and I played enough of the leadership, even though it's only been a couple games, to know that I do like Dracula as a model, but that leadership is not exciting enough for me to like want to run it. Like that wouldn't be my main thing I'd ever do. I don't even think I'd duel it at this point. It's just, if you're a Thralls person, more power to you. But I can't do it. Yeah, there's a lot in this category. It's just like garbage town. Medusa's probably there. Ak is there. Again, like, I don't think Ak 2 is like unplayable or bad. I mean, he's not like terrible, but he's not top tier, and he's not interesting to me. So the absolutely fucking not category is pretty easily going to be like the first one there is Steve 1. That's not Steve 1. This is Steve 1. He is in the absolutely not category to me. He's like mild butter chicken. He's that of MCP, but he's on the level of like I would never. It's not spicy to pick him, and he's not even that fun to me. Like, he has very good turn 1. We can see I don't even think he's as strong as other people think. Like, personally, like he's a shit model with a leadership that's whatever. I don't know. He's just in the not category, so I don't know. I don't need to talk about him too much. There's somebody else. Oh yeah, Kingpin was in the not. Again, strong leadership. I actually like him as a model, but no. In fact, it's weird. Like I'm probably more likely to play a bad leader than I am, or one I think is in this category, than like up here. Kingpin just doesn't do it for me. I always think he's like the ultimate, like, I don't know. I'm not gonna trash talk him that much. I don't think I could play Kingpin. He seems boring. His models aren't that fun. I did like the Loki tech, like I've seen with him and stuff like that, but it's not my style. Black Bolt goes here. Quick, I mean, Black Bolt, Inhumans are probably the strongest thing right now. Black Bolt actually has a leadership that I would like, and so he could go in like the mild one. But I don't think I could play him right now. In his current incarnation, I can't bring myself to. He's too popular, he's too good, and it's just not something I'd want to do. I would rather have a lower chance to win an event, but trying to do it with something interesting than win with Inhumans. That's pretty much how I feel. If I had a team event, I'd want Inhumans on my team. I wouldn't want to play them. That's probably the best way to put it. If you play Inhumans, go for it. And it's not even like the super snowflake thing, like for me. I mean, it's definitely part of it. If Convocation was a top 3 affiliation right now, but like, I think there's a popularity aspect. I don't know. They're there. I wouldn't play Black Bolt. I really think his leadership is cool, like cooler than the others, and I would probably enjoy him, but not in his current state. I don't think I'd enjoy how it plays, and just he's so popular and everyone plays him and wins with him that it's kind of like whatever to me. Probably the most contentious one that kind of falls into the same category is APOC, right? For me. So I'm going to put APOC up here. I think it's kind of hypocritical to put these two separate because I think they kind of fall into this same category or similar category of strength. I think that APOC I think APOC is very strong, but the way he wins is not as... I think APOC is a strong leader that wins in a way that, at least in theory, makes you feel smarter than Inhumans. Does that make sense? Like, you Great Refuge up, you maybe give a bunch of power to Voodoo, you do stupid shit like that. Like, that doesn't feel like it's big-brained enough that, like, an idiot can't do it. Like, it's not Thor 2 levels of stupid, where, like, anyone could win with Thor 2. Like, literally, like, the worst players in the game could take a good Thor 2 list and, like, have a great shot against most people. So I don't think, like, Bolt is that level. But like, it's not, like, I don't know. I don't want to, maybe it's too focused. I don't know how to put it, but, like, if your whole plan, like, think of old Malekith where, like, people would just port him up with Lockjaw and, like, charge people. Like, it was very strong, obviously. I don't know. There's a level of, like, strength and, like, execution that there's a balance of it where, like I don't hate strong things, but I want the execution to be a certain point. I don't know. I think I'll put it this way: if APOC got a little bit of a nerf and wasn't popular, I think I would very much enjoy playing him more than probably Inhumans, and that's just why they're different. But they could be in the same one. Obviously, if Inhumans got nerfed and got no popular, I'd probably still like the Bolt leadership, but it might be past its prime at that point for me to like it. Mags. See, Mags is like... Brotherhood, I'm going to put them both here, but they feel like... I don't know. They're, like, at least interesting. Like, Mags is interesting. I wish Mags was a little better. Like, he would be fun to me. I'm gonna put him here for now. I don't think I would pick them. I'm not gonna play Thor 1. I don't even know if it's bad. Like, I don't think Asgard's bad. Maybe there's a duel where I would play them. I don't think I would play her. Kind of anti-Jane. I don't know if this is the correct where. Maybe it's something like this. Like, and even she could maybe go here. I guess this could be like Asgard in general. Like, I have very little interest in playing just Asgard, but, like, there's probably worlds where, like, if they solve a problem, I would consider playing them as a duel. Whether that's good or not, I don't know. I think Dorm falls into that same category of, like, I would never solo Dorm, but he is kind of this easy pick to put in there and say, okay, I have some good models already that go with Dorm. He maybe solves an issue, but, you know, it's been like the stock market for Dorm, right? Like, sometimes it's everybody's all in and everyone's buying into the Dorm duel, and then they get smashed at a tournament, and they're like, well, fuck that. And so I've never actually done it, and so it's one of those that's like maybe. It always feels like a good idea, and then, like, I don't know. I think it's maybe the way the list progresses, where like I don't know how to put it. I don't know. Maybe there's a world where it's good with, like, some of these crazy ones I think about, but, like, sometimes you're just like, I don't want to duel with it. Let's keep going. We're going Spike. I wouldn't play Guardians. I don't even think maybe we'll put them here. They're probably not because they're not as popular right now. They're probably not as, like, anti in my heart as usual, but I mean, it's kind of a boring affiliation. It's just like shoot 'em ups. I do like Nebula a lot, and she's affiliated there, so maybe that's probably the only thing that in Agent Venom, like, Agent Venom and Nebula are two models that, like, I've been kind of, like, not excited about, but, like, oh, they're kind of cute. Um, but not. I wouldn't play Strucker. King T will fall into the dual part. I guess with. I'll put him with M'Baku there. I guess like they're kind of a pair, right? You're either playing King T for you're playing Wakanda to play King T, right? Like you're not playing Panther or the other one, Killmonger 2. So you're really playing them to play King T or M'Baku together, or just some like shell of like those two plus something else. Which would be funny if you took those two and Taskmaster, right? If you ever had like a Taskmaster thing going where they're 12 and then like you just filled in with other good shit. Like it seems like it would be okay. But again, I would probably only duel this. I would never run solo Wakanda. I think we talked about this in the taco chat where I think they're very strong, but I think consistency was kind of like I don't want to go into this big talk about it, but I'll talk a little. I think the word like consistency gets a little bit mixed around with King T has really good dice because of rerolls and whatever and leaderships, but I don't think Wakanda itself is as consistent with like what was my word? I don't want to talk about it. I would not solo Wakanda. I don't think I'd have fun doing that. I don't think it's like enough stuff going on. It would be like a lot of the reasons for like the dual stuff is like they're not interesting enough to me, but I also need to respect that sometimes you just gotta fucking roll in the mud. And if your choice is like, if somebody's like, I'm gonna bring Intrusions 19 versus you, and your team can't handle it that well, and you just want to be like, listen, I'm gonna put in 3 or 4 models that just like, I'm gonna put in these 3 models that if somebody wants to like Fisk intrusions me, I'm just gonna play this and try to roll dice at them. That's where these fall in. But I wouldn't want them as like my plan A, or like my everyday thing. I have something that goes into mild. I probably wouldn't play Daredevil. I don't think there's any world I play Defenders with him. Like, I think he's probably like one that's like I don't respect him. I'll put him in duel because there's a chance there. Like it's the most likely one that I would duel. Excuse me. Yeah, just drank something nasty. Yeah, I'll put him there. I don't actually like his leadership that much. I think it's very overrated. And I think him with like if Defenders just didn't have models in every fucking affiliation, this probably wouldn't even be a question. He'd probably be in the absolutely not category. He probably should be there. I would never solo him, but I don't even know if I would duel him, to be honest with you. I don't put him here. I'm just so anti. Like, there's some of these guys here that I'm so against for whatever reason. Just like they're just above fuck webs that I just want them to fail. And he's like a big one I just want to be bad for whatever reason. I'm gonna put Red Skull here. I don't actually think Hydra is like his leadership is just fine. Like a power, you're not gonna complain about it, but like Hydra just has like very boring cards. They have like no cards. I think Sleeper is overrated. It's fine. So like I think he goes here because he is probably the best 5-threat splash, but I don't think I'd run his leadership, and I think Hydra cards suck. Are we getting into anything spicy now? Does anyone deserve... I mean, I'm not going to play Malekith. I don't think he's trash, but I think he's a bit overrated, personally. I know that people like the Mephisto thing. It's not something I would want to play. It's probably not as like anti him as like Steve, because he is semi-unique and he is like at least fighty, but I don't think I'd play him. What actually goes into the mild? Storm. I put Storm there. I think she has a leadership that I would really like to play. I probably don't like the super scenario style of it. I think I'd want to lean to some of the other things people have done where like you're playing Ultrons or more aggressive pieces, because you still got like I think Storm is a really good model, period. Like maybe she just dies, but I think she's a solid 3 threat. And then if you can take things that just like kill, like X-23 is affiliated and Domino and stuff, like I think there's a world there where you can do like almost like wide killy and just have really good cards with the leadership that's cool. So I'll put her up there, but she's not like super exciting. Um, just I mean I could probably put most X-Men. I don't think I would play Xavier. Like it's probably here. I don't think he's bad, but I think if I played X-Men, it would probably be her, and I'll put Cyclops here. He's just a little bit more interesting model. Again, it's hard with these categories to be like, would I like if I tried X-Men, it would probably be like these two. I agree that the stuff Xavier can do is actually at least more interesting than like what Steve 1 can do. They have better cards, like, but I probably wouldn't. What do we have in the top category? I think Steve 3 is one that speaks to me the most in this category. He is, every time I play against him, his leadership reminds me how scary it is, and then I win the game. That's the life of Steve 3 for me. It's like, oh shit, this guy is clapping me. Oh, he lost. And I can't put my finger, I can a little bit. I can't always put my finger on why he feels that way. Why does he feel like garbage town there? This is one that like I could probably make a Steve 3 roster and like I've played very little of him way back in the day. This is what Sweepy's claim to fame was beating me in a pickup game with my Steve 3, and then I stopped playing him. That was very old style Steve 3 though. That was like Deadpool stuff. I think now the style with like Gambit being really good. Played against like a Hawkeye and a Scarlet Witch Steve 3 that I was like, holy shit, this is way more annoying than I thought it'd be. I feel like Steve 3 is one of those ones that like I would probably like for a little bit, but maybe very quickly be like, this sucks. But I would at least give it a try. My fear, I'm just running out of leaderships that I find like super interesting, right? If you see what I play, it's like reactive on killing, really cool, bump, active bump, reactive bump. Um, you know, I mean, this probably he probably wouldn't. Yeah, like it's just I'm running out of these leaderships, and like okay, I'll probably put Shield here, right? Shield is like mild butter chicken to me. Like okay, Jim England's been crushing it with Shield. He had that really cool list that like the Namor Fury thing. I played against it. The Nebula is really fun. Like that 17. I look at it on paper. I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. And then it's like you have Eye in the Sky, which can like is a really strong card, obviously, and it can reset. And then you look at the models and you're like, I'm rolling dice, right? Like I have a charging Zemo with some rerolls. I have Namor, and I think Namor is like in the mid ground of like, okay, he can do a lot of things, but he doesn't. And I love his spender, but he's not like blowing my brain up, right? He's just a really strong model, and then you just take other models who are like pretty good, like good models. Like it's like here's good models that roll good dice. What was it? I talked to Jim about it. He said, what did he say? He said Shield are really easy to play. They're strong, but not the best. Just make sure Fury has 3 power and roll good dice. That's what he told me, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. So they're in there. They're interesting. I actually think Fury leadership's interesting, but I was never really a big Shield fan. I don't. The only way I would play Winter Guard would be as a duel. I don't even know if they solve any of the issues I want, but I would probably duel them before anything. At least like if you're on Meteors and Fisk, like Winter Guard become interesting, and you could like easily play like 3 models with like Crimson, Red Guardian, and Taskmaster, and just say, all right, can I splash something that kind of works in this level? I don't think I could solo Winter Guard. I think that'd be kind of lame. Where does X-Force go? I don't know. They're definitely not in the absolutely not. I played a couple games of X-Force when they got buffed. And I'm gonna probably put him here, but it's probably unfair again. Like there are some models I just really hate. Like I kind of hate Guardians. I definitely hate Webs. I hate Steve, and he falls into that category. Probably shouldn't be here. He's not mild though. I don't know where he goes. He could go down here. Sorry if anyone's not listening to me talk and just seeing where I put these guys. X Force just like again, it's like if I'm gonna just roll dice as like a duel or something, I'd rather just roll dice with Wakanda. Like X Force definitely has some interesting stuff. They have really good, you can take X-23, you can take Cable. Cable's probably overrated generally speaking. His leadership is not that exciting, though. I think the cover thing is kind of cool. It's probably here. I probably wouldn't play X Force. Weapon X until they change like the leadership, it's probably here. Unless they fix the leadership. I think they have some really cool models, and you can go like wide Weapon X. And I always think in my head that I would like to play that. But I do think there is this weird like strength issue with Weapon X or wide teams like wide Hydra or some shit where like it's cool until it doesn't, right? Until somebody takes 5 models that are strong and just fucking rips apart an activation or 2 every time they go first, and then you just lose because of that. So I don't think it's something I'd want to play. We're getting down to brass tacks here. So who else? Where does Goblin fall? He's probably in this section. I think foes have gotten a lot of like foes at least have cards that are really cool. Like Goblin is fine. Like, and a lot of people play them, and you get like Webhead. There's Carnage stuff. Like if I played them, it would definitely be like, okay, these aren't the best thing in the game, so it would be interesting from that point of view. But it's not like super spicy where I wouldn't probably come up with anything that was like super crazy. Like you run the good foes models that go well with foes, like Rhino and stuff, and then you play a leader that's a little more active. And in Goblin, I probably wouldn't be as trap heavy as a lot of people. Like, don't get me wrong, I think there are some really cool trap plays that I've gone against me and I've seen, but I don't know if I'd commit every single roster slot to a trap just because you could trap with them. Like, you don't always need to hit 6 traps in one turn to like win the game. So he's probably very unlikely that I would do him, but you never know. He's at least interesting enough. Red Skull 3. This is the 3, right? Red Skull 3 is up there. He's definitely like in between mild and... But I get more excited about a Red Skull 3. I played him a bit when I played my duel. The thing about Red Skull 3 is I think Cabal has a lot of like models that I really like. Like I like Dracula, I like Ultron. I don't actually like Zemo, but he's there. Bob's affiliated. They have 2... No, he's not. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. They have 2 affiliated 2s, right? Bullseye and Bob. Like, Bob, Ultron, like I look at Cabal roster, I'm like, man, they have some solid pieces, and then they like drop off the face of the earth. But they have some solid ones that I like. I think and Red Skull 3 as a model is really nice. Like he shocks, he has he can type his main attack, he can borrow power, he has a throw, he has a scalpel, like he can do a lot of things for a 4 threat. Like I'm almost surprised he's not as popular. I talked to Geisman who plays a lot of him, and he doesn't seem to think that I would like to play Cabal because it's too dicey. And maybe doesn't give as much options as I wanted as a player. It's probably on the border because, like, even though it's no react, like, at least the leader is not a potato, right? Like, he does a lot of cool things. There's probably more options there than I give credit for, and he plays differently than I do. So maybe... I think there's some mixture there where like I would probably like it, but also not like it. It could be a duel, I guess, but I'm gonna put him up here because he always gets me excited. I always look at Cabal and be like, why don't I play Cabal? Because this is at least one where like, okay, the leadership isn't that exciting. It's just damage, which is whatever. I mean, it's about in the same realm as rerolls, right? But the leader is so much more interesting as a model. And it has a lot of models I like affiliated, like Ultron 2, to where it makes me go, well, maybe. We're down to 3. I think these could either go in bad or spicy. All right, so we're going to put She-Hulk I'm going to put her here. Too bad, how sad. I just don't. I don't love her enough. I don't have very many interest in A-Force to play them. I know a lot of people say, like, oh, if you can get 19 and 20 all the time, they're really good. Maybe you duel them with something. The leadership, I realize. I mean, it's a power leadership, which isn't, like, my most favorite thing, but it's reactive. At least it's kind of interesting in that point that, like, if people mess up their order and you see something and be like, oh, if I give a power to here and I give a power here, maybe they fuck up or something, right? But the only reason I was even considering this as long as I did is because I guess Blondie and Taco is, like, crashing out on A-Force because he loves A-Force, but he can't win with them. But, like, it's like, is it A-Force's problem or is it your problem? And so, like, if you took A-Force and, like, did well with them, would you, like, blow his mind or whatnot? And I don't... If I loved A-Force, I probably would be a little different. I'd probably rank them higher as, like, an interesting option, but I just don't have any connections with them. I'm going to put a Hulkbuster up here. I think Hulkbuster as a model, physical model, is one of my favorite models. Now, I don't paint my own shit. I like big chunky things. Like Hulkbuster is just a cool model. My son loves the Hulkbuster model. He plays with them downstairs right now. He's playing, in the basement with him. Well, not right now, but like in general, he's been playing with him lately. And obviously, if I got it painted, he couldn't play with him because I would pay a lot of money to get it painted. Brady's been playing a lot of Buster. He's doing well in the TTS League. I think he's in the game to win it, win the league. I think he's going to bring it to second wind. We'll see how it goes there. This is probably one of those ones that, like, from a coolness factor, I think Buster's just such a cool guy. If you really, like, look at his, like, card from a how are you as a 6th threat perspective, he probably loses some points. To the point that, like, he probably would be, like, in the dual category. He's, like, spicy enough to not be in the dual category, but he would probably be, like, a dual. But I think the problem with Buster always comes with... Not always, but one problem with Buster is him being affiliated Avengers. Because when you start going, like, well, I could duel with Steve 3, I could play Sam, I could play Steve 1, like, it can very quickly devolve and, like, well, I already have these models, why not throw in one of these other leaders? What problems does he solve? Like, his leadership is actually kind of interesting. Like, if you do solo a Buster, like, there's a world where you can, like, Kirkovian buff or, think about his leadership to say, well, you basically get brace. You get, like, we'll say you get 1.5 braces. Let's just say 1.5. I know you don't, like, you won't eat all the damage away, but, like, if a brace on average saves what? 3 or 4 damage, you usually brace a size 3 or 4, right? And you're bracing on 2 people. Or 1, right? So if you're bracing a size 3, like, okay, best case, air quotes. So throwing a size 4 into a size something, and then you brace all of it, and that's 6 damage. But I'm also making the layer of, like, you're probably rolling a block or 2. So the best case, you're probably getting 5 to 6 damage value out of a throw. Average case, you're probably either getting a size 3 thrown with an auto damage, so probably closer to 5 to 4 with 1 or 2 blocks. Probably, like, a brace is worth, like, 4 damage, right? The fact that, like, this leadership, like, every time somebody character throws you, like, their value is, like, super low because you're automatically blocking 2. So if you're blocking 4 on brace on average, right? Again, you're assuming you roll 1 block. Like, I think this could very well be, like, a 1.5 to 2 brace value depending on the game you're against. And I think why it's interesting is if you're willing to say I'm going to play Buster all the time and I'm not going to play brace for impact, it gets you another card. So, like, it's kind of like this interesting dynamic of saying, well, I don't need brace because I'm Buster. I'm just accepting I don't need brace. But I get, like, fallback or something as my other card, and now that's, like, it's not my leadership, but your leadership is, like, extra brace plus fallback. Something like, because everyone takes brace, so, like, if you think about it like that, right? You basically get a TT slot. Like, how much is a TT slot worth? I don't know. That's a weird way to put it, but I don't know. He's a cool model. His attacks, like, auto push is really cool, hit and run. It's probably one of those models that, like, you look at and go, he's pretty cool, but, like, then you're like, he is 6th threat. He has to, like, do a lot. Does he do enough? And Brady's doing it now, so it's not as interesting, but we'll put it up there. And then New Mutants. You know, this is probably like here. So it's probably the most obvious thing as far as like myself, right? The leadership has a couple things. One, the leadership is really cool and it's right up my alley of what I like to play, right? So like I really like those reactive leaderships. Like from a leadership perspective, like if you just like closed your eyes and said, what leaderships does Schmid play and then where do they fall, like which ones can you point out and say he'd probably like that? It would probably be Convocation, Midnight Suns, Sam, Spider-Verse, and New Mutants, right? I mean, that's the ones that I'm looking through real quick. Those are the ones that kind of come to my mind. Okay, the aggressive on Fury is pretty cool. You can say that. I don't know. There's another one. Is there any other one with like movement on it? Like I don't count the killing ones like Medusa and stuff. They're fine, but I don't know. Like those are the ones that kind of like stand out. Like okay, those are interesting ones that I might. Oh, Storm is right up there. So right, so those 6. And so New Mutants also have that like snowflakiness to them. You know, they're not very popular at all. They're not very good. You have people like Curtis try them and get hyped up and then get killed. No, he got killed because he didn't play New Mutants and played this stupid ass dorm duel and got ass beat. I think the interesting part about New Mutants, I can't be that good, right? I don't know. I think there's a world in New Mutants, and this is the worst part, is where you play like Magic X-23 and Taskmaster and just say, fuck it. I don't want to play the other models, they're garbage. Or you play one other one to maybe go wide, like a Warlock or something. And then you just say, I have a really cool leadership. Magic's very strong, X-23 strong, Taskmaster is what it is. And then I just splash my way to like being better, right? Like that's 9 threat. 17, I can run Toad and Hulk. I can run Juggernaut and a 3. I can run double 4s and just use the leadership to take advantage. I think the hard part with New Mutants are, and why they might be like at least mildly interesting, they're more than mild butter chicken, they are spicy, is, and this is hard when playing any new affiliation with these kind of leaderships. I'll kind of go on a little rant here about this. When you play Steve through 1, you're like, you know what you're getting, right? Like, oh, I get my charge on turn 1, or I can throw turn 1. And then from there, you're just basic ass Steve, right? Like, you have a shitty potato leader. I don't care how good you think he is. He's whatever. And you get your things counting less 1, and then as the game goes on, it matters less because you're getting power anyway, for the most part. Sometimes you'll hit a breakpoint that matters. With things like, and I guess Midnight Suns is probably the movement leadership example that's a little bit more like that, where like I know what I'm getting turn 1 from like, okay, it gets a model to the midline, or it's a safe grab, or, you know, like I said, something like Voodoo gets to get on the midline and make an attack with bump, as opposed to like the Convocation version, which has to walk once and attack, so if it's a D shape, he doesn't get on the point. So like incremental value there, and then obviously from every turn on, it's a little bit more dynamic and like, okay, I got more range out of my models, you know, do I hit a breakpoint that the opponent might not see, blah, blah, blah. But things like Sam's leadership or Convocation or New Mutants, it's all reactive, right? Very strong effects, but it's all reactive. So like at some point you're just like, I need to play decently good models, and then I need to get a lot out of the leadership, and that has to, or cards, and that has to make it worth it, right? And so when you see something like Convocation, you know, which I talk about all the time, you know, a big strength of it is, okay, well, 1, you can run small cores and strong splashes, but, you know, turn 1, you can't guarantee anything with the leadership and bump, but it's very strong in that, like, you're much safer on the midline. You need less safe grabs, in my opinion. You can put a tanky model there. If they get hit, you just bump backwards, maybe get you on a point. It adds layers to what the opponent has to think about. New Mutants is probably the one where, like, if I said to myself, play Magic X-23 Taskmaster or one other model, pick one, whatever, a 3 or 4, I don't know, and then splash the rest, and just give yourself 10 games. Just see how it feels. Because you can't sit there and be like, this is going to work, right? Like, I don't know that it's going to work. At least at that point, you could kind of say to yourself, is this good? Is it not good? Right? Because you're not playing the New Mutants for the fucking model list. You're playing it for the leadership. And so you have to decide, is that leadership cool enough? It's probably in the Snowflake world, right? If you went out there and like crushed it with New Mutants, like people will be like, oh shit. You could take Hulk, Juggernaut, Toad, Zemo, Bill, Shang as your splashes, and people would still be like, oh yeah, that's pretty sick. But it's hard to be like, what do they do? Like, what's your, like, can they compete in Intrusions 19? I don't know. Ooh, kind of scary, right? Maybe. Do you need a duel with them? Is that where, like, you play them on, like, this scenario shit where you get all this movement stuff and, like, be tricky, and then, like, if you're against, like, a specific thing that's kind of weird, like Fisk, you need to, like, pivot to something else? I don't know the answer to that, and you won't know until you actually play and feel it, but that's where, like, you just got to commit and be like, I'm playing 10 Union games and we'll see, and then fuck my rating. If it's going to drop, it's going to drop. Well, anyway, that's my Schmid tier list of things I would consider playing, and why, and fuck webs. Thanks for listening.